Ich werde im Fall meiner Wahl zum Bundeskanzler der Bundesrepublik Deutschland am ersten Tag meiner Amtszeit das Bundesinnenministerium im Wege der Richtlinienkompetenz des Bundeskanzlers anweisen, die deutschen Staatsgrenzen zu allen unseren Nachbarn dauerhaft zu kontrollieren und ausnahmslos alle Versuche der illegalen Einreise zurückzuweisen.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was CDU, a party in Germany that supposedly is the middle ground, a little to the right. And they were fighting the other party, AFD, which is the right, but the left see them as gangster, if you understand what I'm trying to say. But they won.
Ich will auch noch mal einmal sehr deutlich sagen, niemand von uns spricht über Grenzschließungen. Niemand. Obwohl das im Wahlkampf streckenweise behauptet worden ist. Niemand von uns will die Grenzen schließen.
Niemand? Nobody?
That's a lie.
Really? You said it. You convinced people are going to bring a safer border. I'm not saying I don't want to trust the middle center people, but it's very odd that a lot of center people, even some center right, always team up with the left-leaning people. Amen. I think AFD is going to win again. Why? Because you lie. If you did exactly what Trump did with his promises, CDU, nobody would care. AFD would never win.
That's it.
But hey, you reap what you sow because you're sowing distrust.
The chair understands that the member does not intend to submit an apology to the body.
That is correct.
The member will be in violation of House Rule 401, Part 11. The member will not be able to cast a vote or speak on the floor until the member has come back into compliance with House Rule 401, Part 11. The member may return to her seat.
So ladies and gentlemen, this happened in May. And you might be saying, what did this woman, Republican Laurel Libby, do to not be able to vote? Yes, a tweet can remove your voting right in Congress when you were elected or whatever by people. Another day, another instance of an unremarkable biological male athlete who couldn't win against other males, dominating girls' sport. Imagine you want to defend certain sport that even Trump says is the new law, and the fact that you fight against that to help the voting of Trump because he is the president, they can just remove your voting rights. That sounds kind of patriarchal, even if you're doing it for empathetic reason. Removing a woman's right to vote? That's wild.
21-year-old Colombian national Robert Rodriguez Melendez in court accused of rape. The victim, a woman waiting for her food to be delivered by a female Uber Eats driver. The woman in the driver's profile, allegedly his own mother.
When the delivery driver arrived, it was a male party rather than the female party listed on the delivery driver's profile. The driver did not speak English but told the named victim that she needed a 4-digit code in order to complete the delivery.
That's when trouble started. The victim allegedly let him in out of the cold and called her Spanish-speaking friend on a 3-way call to Uber tech support.
At some point during the call, the man gained possession of the victim's phone and disconnected the call.
The hang-up led to horror. Eventually, the rape in a nearby bathroom ended apparently due to the victim's Spanish-speaking friend calling her incessantly.
She reported that she picked up her phone, called Miss Maldonado back, and asked her to tell the suspect to leave.
Days after he fled the attack, police tracked the illegal immigrant down. His case moved from district to superior court. Prosecutors want him behind bars.
It's like a horror story on both sides. And the fact that he kind of escaped and they needed to track him down and they found out, hey man, you already had an arrest warrant for driving a motorcycle like a unique person. And now this? Oh man, woo. I'm not saying we can be empathetic. But because of these actions, a lot of people, they're a little doubtful these days. And in other news, as you can see right here, these are the 3 judges that blocked Trump from freezing foreign aid, federal grants, and limiting refugees. And they were all appointed by Biden. I mean, I thought a judge has to just judge. But I guess if you're appointed by Biden, you have an ideology, and that makes you it actually makes you an activist.
Speaking of simple,
it actually gives me that German energy. I'm going to judge. Only one side. Bengadelo, remember to subscribe.
Remember to subscribe? ¿Por qué?
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So
even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were motivated?
I don't know,
to?
but from what I am told, they are very upset with how he has treated them and talked about them. And we need the intelligence community. We don't know what's going on. Look at the Russian hacking. Without the intelligence community, we wouldn't have discovered it.
Do you think he has an agenda to try to dismantle parts of the intelligence community? I mean, this form of taunting hostility...
Whether you're a super liberal Democrat or a very conservative Republican, you should be against dismantling the intelligence community.
That sounds a little fascistic. I don't know. I've seen it before.
And boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrent.
And will put the Department of Justice of the United States back in the business of justice. We will double the Civil Rights Division and direct law enforcement to counter this extremism. We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. And if you profit off of hate, if you act as a megaphone for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable as a community.
Look, if people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick and, has an agenda and they're putting out disinformation, our First Amendment stands as a major block to the ability to be able to just, hammer it out of existence. So what we need is to win the ground, win the right to govern by hopefully having, winning enough votes that you're free to be able to implement change.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
All I know is this. If you advocate for one voice, I'm suspicious.
We are training the members of the coalition to do these patrols. We've been doing the patrols for years in Los Angeles and San Diego, but yesterday we had more than 150 people combing through the streets of Los Angeles looking for any ICE activity. And early in the morning we found 2 operations, and luckily we were able to defend those 2 communities from those ICE raids.
So tell me a little bit about what is working, because you are patrolling these communities. What's working, what isn't working, and how is the community responding to you patrolling the streets?
What's working are the patrols. We're in every neighborhood of Los Angeles. This morning already, we have combed through dozens of communities of Los Angeles looking for ICE activity. We do this at 5:30 in the morning because we know that's when ICE starts their operations. So before they can go and attack our community, we are looking for them, and when we find them, we alert people with megaphones. That works. The megaphones wakes up the people. They let them know what's happening. And they also let ICE know that we're there and we're not going to leave. We're going to defend our community. We have the legal right to do so. Everything we're doing is legal. We don't intend to break any laws.
I'm not doing anything illegal, but I don't want to break a law. I just want to beat you up, but I just don't want you to get hurt.
To defend our community, and more people are joining this cause.
Yeah, in fact, now you have up to 50 organizations that are part of the Self-Defense Coalition. But I did want to ask you, Ron, we are just really 1 month into a 4-year administration. Is it feasible and sustainable to keep this up for the next 4 years, and how do you keep that momentum?
We've been doing this for decades because our communities have been under attack by every administration since we can remember. This is nothing new. So we're going to continue to organize in our communities, and now we're training people not just in Los Angeles. We're training people in Chicago, Denver, Salt Lake City. These community patrols are growing, and so what's happening in Los Angeles is working. Yesterday we were able to successfully defend the communities. This morning we are doing that, and we're going to continue. We're workers. I'm a teacher by profession, so I can't do it during the day, but early in the morning I can, and after work I can. So we're going to do everything possible to defend the communities in a legal way, but in a way that people throughout the country can replicate.
But hey, maybe I'm wrong. But the thing is, whenever I think they're doing something wrong, they always upgrade it in a way that I'm like, why did you go that far?
It has to be against the law to dox an ICE agent, to tell the cartels and the gangbangers, this is where this guy lives, this is what his wife looks like, because that's the information you're giving out. How are these people still walking around? This must be able to get prosecuted.
So where we have the opportunity and it's against the law, we absolutely will be prosecuting these individuals. And that is what I think people need to recognize is what they're doing is putting these law enforcement officers' lives in jeopardy, that they are exposing them to dangerous criminals, to the cartels, to gangs that want and will take their lives in order to perpetuate their drug trafficking, their human trafficking, and their illegal activities. So this doxing in many times is not just risky, but it's dangerous, it's criminal, and we will go after them and there will be consequences.
Hey man, if you just want to scream, wake up, and it's not against the law, I can get that. But if you still think you're losing a foul after winning a few, and you decide to dox people by telling supposedly the cartel, hey, you know that ICE guy? His wife and kids live over there. I'm like, okay man, you are wild thinking that's the right answer.
Don't get me wrong, makosa kita bong. Put the fire na mi blonde, kush hash, purple skunk, criollo, colombici, jam, jam, durloqueta, verdeta, welcome.